Welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone. We are your hosts, David O.
And Eric V.
And today we are doing part 6 of our 32 principles for recovery. And, you know, so far we've done that. Most of them have been very good. This has been a very cool tool, very small, accessible. It's been a good book.
Just a little too many principles. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've edited it out.
I'm curious
personally.
why
I
we
think
chose 32.
32.
You know?
It's a good number.
Is it?
Know, maybe
42 would have been better.
It's a round number.
I like 42.
I like round numbers.
What's the answer to everything? 42.
42. Jackie Robinson. Anyway.
I thought of Hitchhikers. And now I'm thinking of actually in the Spider-Verse movie, because the spider had 42 on it as well.
It could be the answer to everything.
It's the answer to everything. Tell me.
One may never know. So anyway, we go through these. This is going to be an 8-part thing. Every episode we do 4 principles and we read them to the best of our ability and dissect them and then either give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Drastically more thumbs up than thumbs down. We've had one which was like a wash, which we just didn't understand. And then we've had like 4 which we were like, these are weird. We didn't understand them. So now we have gone 1 through 20 on our first 5, and now we are on principle 21, going into the unknown, because I have not read these before. Here we go. Sometimes the best course of action is to do nothing at all. Remember, it is God's job to do the impossible, and it is our job to do everything else at the right time and in the right way.
It's step 3.
Yeah, it's step 3. It's essentially step 3. I really like how in the beginning, sometimes the best course of action is doing nothing at all. And Herb always had, my sponsor, had a great analogy for that. Like, say you're in a fellowship and you're all, we're using the analogy, we're all going on a hike together. So we're all on a path and one person strays from the path and gets lost. In a survival situation, actually the best advice is to stay where you are. Stay put and people will come to get you. Because if you start wandering off on your own, you can get yourself more lost. Wow. If you try and go back to where you came from, again, you can get more lost. And sometimes it's better to just, I'm going to hunker where I am and people will come and get me because that's how that works. And also, hunker down is a redundant statement. That's why I said hunker in position. Because hunker
does mean down. Yeah.
It implies a downward motion.
Yeah.
So to hunker down, so you're going down.
What if you're hunking her?
No, you can't. You can't hunk to the left. No, you hunk down.
To the left.
You
hunk to the
down.
right. We hunk to the rear until it's right. Yeah. Hunk.
But no, so I like that. Sometimes the best course of action is to do nothing at all. And yeah, it's true. Sometimes you just got to sit on your hands. And remember, it's God's job to do the impossible. Okay.
Who's God?
And it is the universe's job to do the impossible. That's true. And it is our job to do everything else. I like that. It puts the onus on, the recoverer. Yes. Well, how short is this? It's okay. The simplicity of the serenity prayer is asking this. Grant me the serenity. I left out God. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. By the way, I don't say God in the serenity prayer because that is my personal choice. I don't think it needs to be in there, and it doesn't, because I'll read it without the G word. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Most of the time, we spin our wheels trying to affect change in things which we are powerless to change. Very true. And in the end, we find ourselves battered and worn out in the process. When we are faced with situations that are impossible to change, that is when we need to trust the universe the most. Although it may be difficult to just do nothing, we can harm ourselves as well as others trying to affect change in things we have no power over, and therefore we must be still in those times and wait on the universe to move in our behalf. Conversely, the things we have complete power over, we lack the courage to change them and just sit on our hands as things are falling apart around us. Yeah, it's the third step.
Yeah.
Which
third step, man.
Yeah, which I like. I
like the third step. I like that your meeting does the third step prayer. I think that's really neat.
Yeah. Take out the G word, and I think this is a perfect principle. 2 thumbs up.
I like it.
2 thumbs up. Moving on. Principle 22. Let's see what this says. Ooh, in bold print. Okay. All caps. All caps. Caps lock on this one. True forgiveness is given even when there is no apology. Back to caps lock. A sincere apology is given even when forgiveness is not offered. Huh.
What? Read that again?
Yeah, that's okay. So true forgiveness is given even when there is no apology. Okay. So I can forgive you without you ever apologizing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you said something or did something, and I forgave you as soon as it happened, Eric.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Naturally.
Of course. And then a sincere apology is given even when forgiveness is not offered. Okay. I do like that.
Okay.
Now that I read it out slowly. Yeah. So, even when you're not expecting to be forgiven for this, if the apology is truly sincere, then, the forgiveness is not even offered. And, I think that's very true. I think a true, like, heart to heart, apology. Yeah, it can have no forgiveness attached to it at all. And it has a very short thing here with a Bible quote, which I will read out.
Read it. Give me that Bible.
So we must learn how to forgive without an apology. Forgiveness is not based upon apologies. It is based upon unconditional love, as explained in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. And I quote, and be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. I could have done without the Bible quote, personally.
Always.
I could have done without the Bible quote.
Always.
Unnecessary. Goofy fucking language. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. I get what they're saying. It's just muddled in old English that sucks. I like the initial principle. I like the first sentence. We must learn to forgive without an apology. And
I like Old English.
And forgiveness, it depends.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is not based upon apology. It's based on unconditional love. Period. They didn't need a comma and go into the Bible quote. It could have just been a two sentence explanation of this principle, but it's good. I think this is 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Essentially,
yeah, it's combined 8
and
9.
It's combined 8 and 9 because you're talking about the apology and the forgiveness, and you're talking about both sides of it.
Yeah, you're not also just talking about you are talking about sort of also like living it too, right? Like that you don't have to fucking apologize.
Yeah,
right?
because it's based on unconditional love. Yeah, and that's the action of a true amends or a true apology is changing the behavior.
Yeah, that's that's the whole point.
That's the whole point. Just saying you're sorry doesn't mean shit. If there's no action behind your apology is horseshit.
Yeah,
and that's just.
And people are like, but I want an apology, and it's like, I'll give you one, but if I don't,
I'll give you one, but that's not the important part of this.
The important part is changing the behavior.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't think it's even debatable. I'm like, it's not a debate.
What?
That the action is more important than the words.
Apology, yeah.
You really need to say it. No, you don't.
What are our words?
No, you don't. If you're doing all the right things in your life to amend all the transgressions and behaviors and wreckages of your past, that's what's most important. Period.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. Thumbs up. Thumbs up on this one. We're basically, I'm guessing, so we're at 20 to 32 now. Okay. This might just be the 12 steps.
Maybe. Let's see.
It might just be the 12 steps. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out,
we're journeying in this together. So, I like that one. We haven't gone 4 for 4 yet.
No.
We went 3 for 3 one day, and then the last one sucked.
It happens, though.
It does. It can't all be winners.
The best of us.
Can't all be winners. All right. Principle 23. There is a difference between being clean and being sober. I instantly don't like this.
Well, let's see what he says.
Let's see what he says.
I kind of, let's see.
Well, I'll stay open-minded.
Yeah,
I'll stay open-minded. Okay. He's saying there's a difference between being clean and sober. Okay. Being clean means that your body's system is clear of all drugs and alcohol. However, Being sober means that your thought process has gone through a transformation. Does it? Okay.
What?
And that's the first paragraph. The second paragraph, it is actually possible to make some of the worst and most irrational decisions without being drunk or high. Yeah. Okay, totally. One popular interpretation of this condition is referred to as a dry drunk. Okay. Behavior and cognitive impairment similar to that of a person under the influence without having any mind-altering chemicals in your system. I don't like this.
I don't like it.
I don't like this at all.
You're hating on us.
Being sober means that your thought process has gone through a transformation.
But being
no,
clean
it doesn't.
Means like.
But being clean means your body is clear of all drugs and alcohol.
So we know.
So sober is the mind going through a transformation, and clean is just your body. You're pissing clean.
We know where this dude recovery.
We're seeing where this is going. Yes, this is very
alcohol centric bullshit here.
There is no difference. No, clean and sober.
Yeah, right.
They're synonymous, and that's why I do appreciate, although I think it's nonsense, the clarity statement. Like, we're saying that clean and sober is the same thing, so we don't differentiate between diseases. I get that. Yes, alcohol is just a liquid drug. So yes. I totally agree on that. But anybody who's super bent out of shape about saying I'm sober. And like if you come to any meeting and say, "Oh, I'm sober," blah blah. Okay, I understand what you mean. They're synonyms. Mm-hmm. Like it just depends on which one you prefer to say. "Oh, I'm clean." Cool. I'm sober. Cool. Like I don't care. It's a synonymous word. Anybody who's seriously bent out of shape about those semantics, that's something you gotta fucking deal with.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it is annoying when people say it, like.
I don't care.
That kind of like pisses me off, to be honest with you. Like,
what?
Like just saying like there's a difference between being clean and sober. Like I feel like it's kind of shitting on NA.
Sorry, I was getting rid of my nickname.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
which is not cool in my estimate. Not cool.
Yeah, have respect for your fellowships.
Yeah,
like. There are no rivalries here. If you think there is a fucking rivalry, get your head out of your ass.
Well, there's sometimes a rivalry.
There can be if we want there to be.
Yeah.
Principle 24. We're only 12 minutes in. We might make this a dual episode.
Maybe a short episode.
Might be a short episode. Okay, we'll debate. Okay. Principle 24, last of this 4. Pride gets in the way of everything. Okay. If you brag about being humble, then obviously you're not. Okay. Usually the humbler a person speaks of himself, the more pride there is underneath the humble exterior. Pride is not only exhibited by how much a person thinks they shine, but it is also evidenced by self-willed behavior. Pride prevents you from heeding wise counsel. I love that sentence.
Pride does.
Just the fact that they said heeding. I love heed. Heed my wise counsel. Heed my wise counsel is what I say to ye. Pride is often presented in the form of stubbornness and lack of accountability. I like that too. Pride is recognizable less in words, but rather in behaviors and actions. I like this.
Okay.
I like this. Pride gets in the way of everything. If you brag about being humble, then you're obviously not, unless you're Brad, who's the most humble guy in NA.
Is he?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah. You know who told you that? Not Brad.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So
except for I've heard him say it. Oh God, I have a sniffle in my nose. I apologize to everybody.
You have a sniffle in your nose.
I have a sniffle in my nose.
Oh my goodness.
It's better than a sniffle in my butt. No, this is very true.
What would that be?
What, a sniffle in my butt? Yeah. I don't know. Reverse diarrhea? Who the fuck knows?
Would sniffle...
I just say things, man.
Sniffle like a hamster or a guinea pig trying to burrow? Or maybe they're trying... I was trying to bring it back.
He failed.
Fuck.
Swung hard and missed.
What is that word? Hunker. Maybe it's trying to hunker down.
Yeah. Yeah, the sniffle is trying to hunker down. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody who's been watching these, you get history lessons, you get your pop culture references, and you also get your etymology lessons.
Yeah, I just bought Hitler.
Secret Hitler,
which is a great game.
Yeah,
great game.
Yeah, play some board games, people. Board games are a great pastime.
Secret Hitler is a very
great
fun
pastime.
game. It sounds awful, but super fun game.
Pride is not only exhibited by how much a person thinks they shine, but it is also evidenced in their self-will behavior. Pride prevents you from heeding wise counsel. I love that sentence. Pride is often presented in stubbornness and lack of accountability. I
think just by using the word heed, you win.
Yeah. I think a couple times grammatically he could have used the word humility instead of the humbler person.
The humbler person.
That's terrible word structure.
Actually, that would be a great poem. The humbler man.
The humbler man.
I'm the
that
humbler
sentence
man.
should read usually the person with more humility.
The humbler man running through the sun
speaks less of himself. The more pride there is underneath that humble exterior. I love this. Yeah. That goes back to a different way of going about, your own personal enlightenment, which is the Eightfold Path of Buddhism, where, one of the big guidelines of that is the desolation of ego, because you have to do that.
Get rid of that shit.
You got to get rid of that shit. And that's paramount in the 12 steps. Like the very first thing is, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives have become unmanageable. I don't know what's happening in my throat.
Sniffle.
I think the sniffle's hunkered into my throat. It's terrible. You got to dissolve your ego. You are not the great I am. I am not the great I am. You're not God. You don't control the impossible, like it said in the previous step. And you can't control the things in your life. Your life.
Become God, though?
I don't know. It might happen after your DMT resurrection after you die. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, why not? Like, we could become gods, one day.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yes.
we could be, it could be like the Mormons and we could get our own planet. I don't know.
Do they get their own planet?
Yeah. Don't you remember the musical?
It's been a while.
I believe.
Orlando.
Fucking great. Also, go see musicals. Go see some Orlando. Yeah,
a spooky Mormon dream. No.
Yeah. You blamed the jelly donut on your brother? You're a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the best course of action is doing nothing. Thumbs up. True forgiveness and sincere apologies. Thumbs up. Difference between clean and sober. Thumbs down. That was terrible.
So
Principle 23. Yeah, 3 for 4, and pride gets in the way of everything. It's true, Humble yourself. You don't have all the answers, and if somebody is there to try and help you, maybe listen to them, because, there's not many drug dealers out there, or Tinder girls or boys that are really genuinely trying to help you. And there's no casino gambler or casino dealer that's trying to help you. Tinder girls and boys.
They're not trying to help you.
No, they're not trying to help you. They are trying to use your goodies. And that's about it. I think that's all we got. Do we want to continue and make this an
I think we call it. And
all right.
Maybe we'll do another one.
Let's call it and do another one. All right. So that'll be all for part 6. Everybody, thank you for joining us on this, short and sweet episode of the 32 Principles of Recovery. And go to all our social media outlets, like, share, subscribe, join our Patreon, help us keep the mics on. We are self-supporting. Also, buy some merch, which actually Megan, who we just had, on the way out, she was like, I'm totally going to buy some merch because I love spending money. And I was like, thank you, Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
So another shout out to you, Megan. You did a great job today, and we thank you for joining us.
That makes me really happy.
I know.
All my hard work.
Yeah. So when Megan shows up with podcast recovery merch and you don't have any, now you know. But most importantly, everybody out there,
stay safe and stay clean.